Where'd you get these peacock feathers?
The peacock feathers are from the art store.
Okay.
They were like $1 each. Isn't that like such an amazingly cheap way to make pretty things happen in the house?
Yeah.
Hello, my darlings. This is Micah Riot. I'm here with Amithyst Fist, recording another episode of our favorite podcast, Ink Medicine. It is April the 30th of 2023. Hello.
Hi.
Will you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Tell us your name, pronouns, or where you grew up, perhaps.
Okay.
And maybe like your favorite kind of cheese.
Oh, yeah. That's hard. Okay. Hi, my name's Amithyst Fist. My pronouns are she, her, or femme. And I grew up like in the Bay Area and also in Portland, Oregon. It's a long story, but I was in the Bay till I was 15, and then from 15 on in Portland until I came back to the Bay, 9 years ago now?
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite cheese?
Oh, yeah, cheese. Oh, my God, I love cheese. That's really hard, but blue cheese, hands down.
Blue cheese, really?
Yes. Oh, my God.
Like the footiest of all the cheeses?
The footiest of all the cheeses.
Okay.
Yeah, I will just eat hunks of it on crackers.
Okay.
Or with carrots.
The reason why I thought of cheese is because we earlier were talking about Lulu and the treats that she gets, and I was like, well, she gets like little bits of cheese sometimes.
She probably wouldn't like blue cheese.
I think she would. I think she would
Really?
eat it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I try that?
To give her blue cheese?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to bring it to the shop?
I will bring it to the shop.
You're going to foot stink up the shop?
Just a little piece.
Let's tattoo blue cheese on you.
Okay. On my food sleeve?
On your food sleeve.
Okay. I'm in.
Sounds good. When was the first time you saw a tattooed person that you remember?
Oh, I was very young. When I was born in San Francisco, so I saw tattooed people all the time. So very young.
So you were born in early 80s?
1980.
And even then, there were lots of tattooed people in San Francisco.
Yeah, because I lived in the Mission, so there were lots of tattooed punks around in the 80s.
What was that like? Was it like what's in books and in poems? I feel like I've read these poems about what it used to be like, and I never got to experience that part, that kind of San Francisco.
Well, I was young,
Yeah.
So, but I definitely grew up knowing that there were all different types of people and that people were tattooed. And my dad had two really shitty tattoos when I was little. He had an M, a stick and poke M, because his name is Mike. Mm-hmm. And then he had an angry rat smoking a joint on his other shoulder.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's still there.
Yeah. And nothing else. He doesn't have anything else tattooed on him?
Now he does. But back then, no. He just had those two things. But now he has a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon album cover with my name, my brother's name, my niece's name, and my mom's name.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
When was the first time that you got it? How old were you when you first got your first tattoo?
12.
You were 12 when you got your first tattoo?
Stick and poke, yeah.
Someone did it to you in their bedroom?
We were on a stoop, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were sitting on my friend's stoop. And it was just a little tiny smiley face, and it's now covered up.
Okay.
Yeah, just tiny.
Were you the coolest person? Were you I'm the coolest person? I'm 12 and I have a tattoo.
Yeah, I thought it was super cool, even though it was super janky.
I mean, so what, right? You're 12.
I was yeah. But then I didn't get another tattoo till I was 16 or 17.
So you were still here in the Bay when you were 12?
When I was 12, I was here, and then I didn't get my next tattoo till I was 16, and that's a story.
And that was in Portland?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. At 12 with this tattoo, what were you doing? Who were you around? Who were your friends?
I was hanging out with some older kids that I met in Dolores Park.
Okay.
And I thought they were super cool.
Queer kids?
No, they weren't queer.
Okay.
I've known I was queer for a very long time, but I was just starting to explore that identity. These were just some
kids
that I just met.
Some punks.
Yeah. And we just went to this girl's house, and we were sitting on her stoop, and they like went upstairs and like got like, you know, like the India ink, and like I was like, oh, I want a tattoo. So they just tattooed a little janky smiley face.
Okay.
So embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. It's very cool.
I wish I would have got something cooler for my first tattoo.
Who gets anything cool for their first tattoo?
Yeah.
Here's my first tattoo. This was my first tattoo.
What is it?
It's the symbol of my college, Antioch College.
Okay.
I'm going to describe it why don't you describe it for the listeners?
It looks like an anarchy symbol with a square and a line through it, and then like some little dot kind of in the middle of the bottom of the A.
This is a little person.
It's a person?
It's a person. It's like a profile of a person, and they're sitting like this.
Oh.
Can you see that now?
Where's the head?
That's on their knees.
Oh,
it's like very
yeah,
janky,
okay.
It was done by like some dude at my dorm room in my college.
Sketchy.
Yeah. I think he did a lot of these little sketchy tattoos for everybody.
Okay.
You know?
But that's like a rite of passage.
Absolutely. But I'm
and
saying
so was
like,
getting my
that's,
smiley fist
that's
tattoo.
Yeah. Who gets... nobody gets a great first tattoo. Almost nobody. I have a lot of people who get their first tattoos with me, so I would say that's not entirely true. I try to give them a great first tattoo for them. But when you're like a kid, you know?
You make
12
choices.
or 19 in my case, like, it's just what it is. So you started to explore being queer at 12.
Okay. So when I was like, I knew I was queer for a very long time. Like, so, you know, growing up in the city, like my mom did hair. So she had like a lot of like queer male friends who she worked with in like hair salons. Mm-hmm. And my parents had this like dyke couple friend named Joyce and Phyllis. And this story is so funny. And they were like a butch femme couple, and Phyllis, the femme, was like super fat, and Joyce was like hella old school butch. And they would come over, and like I was like young, like 6, 7 at the time, and I would like look at them and like feel like a kinship with them, but I didn't have words for it. Like I knew I wanted to be like them rather than like my parents. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. So like that's when I started like being like, oh yeah, no, like I feel like Phyllis and I want to be with someone like Joyce. Mm. Yeah.
And did you ever tell them that?
Funny you should ask that. So like when we moved away when I was 15, like my parents like lost contact with them. And then like many years later, I found Joyce on Facebook. And I messaged her, and of course she remembered me. And they actually still live. They live like out past Tracy.
Were you like, I'm now like,
yeah,
I wanted to be.
Yeah, totally. I was like, you know, like
because of you.
Like I remember like going to their house, and she had like a huge vanity. And my mom's like a cis straight woman, but my mom is not very feminine.
Yeah.
And like Joyce had like a vanity with like all this makeup, and I would like love going there because she would let me like sit there and play with her makeup. And my mom didn't really have that. My mom had like a tiny bag with like some Maybelline mascara.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like that was like when I was beginning to explore like my gender and my sexuality. And so I found them on Facebook, and I messaged them because I was like living back in the Bay, and we connected, and I went to their house, and it was like really cool, and I got to tell them the story. And they have a pet pig, and you know how I feel about fat animals.
They have a pet pig.
Yes.
Oh, wait, so they're still together.
They're still together.
Okay,
they've been together for like ever.
They're healthy. They're good.
I mean, they're aged, you know, so like,
but like they're okay.
They're okay. Yeah. You
and
know,
they have a pig.
They have a pet pig.
Oh my God.
That's like huge. Probably weighs like 350 pounds.
In their backyard.
It's an indoor-outdoor pig.
Wait, this is not the pig in Alameda that we discussed.
No, I've never met the pig in Alameda, which, like, what the fuck? But yeah, they have a pig. And he, like, comes in and out of the house, like, just like he has, like, a big-ass fucking doggy door, basically.
Yeah.
That pig is smart as shit, dude.
Yeah, I bet.
Like, before they had the doggy door, he would, like, ring a bell to go outside to go to the bathroom. Cool.
Lulu is really, like, missing out on opportunities of ringing doorbells here.
Yeah.
This is something I'd like to train, like, somebody, like her or somebody else to do.
To ring doorbells?
Yeah.
For what?
To go outside. Like, be like
Doesn't she tell you when she has to go outside?
She does.
Yeah.
But doorbell would be even better.
Yeah.
You said this, when the next tattoo you got at 16 was like a story.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the story?
Okay. So there was this tattoo shop in Portland, Oregon. I'm not going to name it because it's actually still there.
Okay.
But they were open 24 hours a day. And so my friends and I would like just, we were like young, you know, so we would like sit outside and like smoke cigarettes and like try to like meet up with people there. And there was this tattoo artist, I'm also not going to say her name,
Okay.
but she was, you know, in her 40s and was a dyke. And, you know, I've always like been like super into like older folks, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to hook up with this woman. So basically,
16.
yeah. So basically, like, I was, like, trying to get her to tattoo me, and, like, she was like, no, I'm not gonna do that, you know? And so I just, like, started flirting with her, like, really hard. Not my best moment. Because, like, I found out later that she had, like, a wife, and they, like, weren't open, but I didn't know at the time, you know? And I was young.
Yeah. Well, also, she's an adult.
She's an adult, and I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, like, I flirted with her for, like, 2 or 3 months. And then she was like, okay, if you do this, then I'll tattoo you.
Do what?
Hook up with her.
She was like, if you hook up with me, I'll tattoo you. Wow.
So I hooked up with her in the back room of the shop.
Okay.
And then she tattooed me.
But you wanted to hook up with her.
I did, but I was like kind of like using it
like,
as a leverage for her to tattoo
like a child.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the tattoo?
It is this one right here, which is a woman symbol.
Okay. Yeah.
On my ankle with the Virgo sign on the other side and like some wheat. I'm sorry, my legs are kind of dry right now.
No, it looks great.
Yeah. So that happened.
Okay. Do you still like it?
I don't.
What's your association with that memory now?
I don't love it, but it just reminds me of like a very particular time of my life, so I will never cover it up.
Yeah.
Even though I started covering up a lot of tattoos that I got when I was younger.
Yeah.
I won't ever touch that one.
Well, how do you feel about that person now? Now that you're that age that she was when that happened.
I am pretty much that age. You know, I had a big part in it, so I'm trying to give her a little bit of grace, but it probably wasn't cool.
Yeah.
You know, like I would never hook up with a 16-year-old child right now.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah. No, it's true. Like when I think about the people I was into and at that age too, but that is like kind of goes without saying, but even in my like early 20s, the people that I dated who were in their 40s, I would not date somebody in their early 20s.
No.
Now that I'm almost 40, you know? That
I also went
like
to my prom
really,
with a 40-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did we meet?
How did you and I meet?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fuzzy, but you were in Portland because you were in school and you were going to different places to like part of your program, right?
Yeah, I was there like doing an internship.
You were doing an internship, yeah. And I don't remember exactly how we met, but I know we met probably in a nightclub. That's my assumption. I remember you were in my car at one point.
The Egyptian room or something?
Maybe it was like scurvy or like...
Well, I was underage when I was in Portland, so
But there was one
20.
night that you were in my car with me. Do you remember this?
Not really.
No. Yeah, see, it's fuzzy to me.
Are you sure it wasn't at the, like there was the fat conference there that summer?
Fat Girl Speaks.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where we initially met.
Because I also don't remember very much, like, did I go to that? Did I just meet people who went to that? Like, I don't, like my memory is so
it's super fuzzy to me. But I remember there was like one night where we were with other people and I don't even remember who, but then you and I ended up in my car and we were like sitting in a parking lot and talking for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And like you left a big impression. Like I always like thought you were in Portland longer than you actually were because like that one conversation like left a big impression on me. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just because like you and I were able to go to like deep pretty quickly. But like I don't remember exactly the moment that we met. But it was 20 years ago.
It was 20 years ago. But did I also meet you at Camp Trans? Did we have this conversation? Like, did we also meet at Camp Trans?
So I've been to Camp Trans twice in 2006 and 2008.
Right.
I don't know.
I think I was there in 2007.
Were you there 2006 or 2008?
Maybe 2006. I think I went there 2 years. So maybe it was just the 1 year. I don't remember. See, this is so funny. I think it was 2007 that I went there.
Okay. So I didn't go 2007.
I went kind of last summer before I graduated, so it would have been 2007.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So I don't exactly know where we met, but it was definitely in Portland, maybe in Michigan. I don't know.
Yeah, hard to know.
But also like
the people, there's like a cross, what is that called? The circles overlap, like the Portland queer punk people and like what people that could have been in Michigan, like Camp Trans, like all that overlapped. So that's because I also like there were other folks. What's his name? Oh my god, this kid who had the chubby tattooed across his belly.
Wyatt. Right.
I knew him from LiveJournal. Like from like many years before, and I was like, I really wanted to meet him. Like I thought he was so cool, and you were friends with him.
Yeah,
and that's also maybe
Wyatt and I basically grew up together.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wyatt.
Yeah, Wyatt's amazing.
Wyatt Riot with the same last name.
I know. Yeah.
So how did you find your way back to me into my shop?
Well, I mean, I always knew that you were here in the Bay tattooing, but you know, we like hadn't had any contact, and then like. When I came back to the Bay, like, I was like, I need to find someone to tattoo me. And so, like, I just went to some randos, like, all around, and I was just like, no, this isn't working. And then Deb Malkin actually was like, you know, Micah, you should reach out to Micah. And I was like, oh, yeah, totally. And then I reached out to you, I think. Or, you know, you posted something about wanting to do gem pieces, and I was like, me. And then we reconnected.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's what happened, actually.
The thing. Sometimes I make these random posts, and good things come of them.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Tell me more about the kind of the intersectionality of your identities.
Oh, God. That's like a big question.
And some of them are more or less chosen. Some are like being tattooed is clearly something, choices you made, right? But femme, queer, fat, punk, I don't know if you identify as like working class, like any of those things that are, tell me about living at the intersectionality of those things.
I mean, I think that's hard to talk about for me because it's just who I am, you know, like, I very much identify as being working class, just because, you know, my dad was a maintenance man his whole life. My mom did hair and then had like a bunch of random jobs. She worked in school cafeteria for a long time. And then towards the end of her career, she was a receptionist, like in a dental office. And, you know, like my parents were very working class. Like they didn't, you know, we had everything we needed, but they worked their ass off to get it, but we didn't have extras. And, you know, class stuff is so weird. Like, you know, now I'm a social worker. I work for the county. I have a pension, you know, and like queers don't talk about money, but I like, fuck that bullshit. Like I talk about money. So like I make under 6 figures, but close to 6 figures. And I'm like in the Bay Area, like that is still like middle or working class, which is disgusting to me. Right. But I really like, my class background feels kind of fuzzy right now because I don't really know how to identify anymore.
Yeah. No,
do you know what I mean?
It really has
like,
shifted.
It has.
And so like, yeah, if you were making this amount of money in 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that would have given you a nice life. But now you have to have a partner who makes as much or more in order to like have the same kind of life that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And, you know, like if I made this money in, you know, some place outside of the Bay Area or in California or the West Coast or the East Coast, I would probably be considered rich, right?
You know what? Someone
like if I lived in Ohio or Michigan or Kentucky,
like,
I don't,
you wouldn't be able to get paid that much there.
Yeah, exactly.
Your pay for that job would probably be like half of what you make.
Yeah.
There. I heard somebody say this on a TikTok that I just, you know, like heard somebody say this on a TikTok. Now this is something I say. But this woman was talking about that one of the things that's happening with like the rising cost of living is like the GOP wants women to not be able to afford to live on their own. Like they want women to need men again. Like the leading, like divorce-wise, 70% are initiated by women. And that's something they're really mad about. They want women to need men. They want there to be not such an easy way to get divorced. They want there to be like, the man has to give consent for a woman to get divorced and for a woman not to be able to live on their own. And I was like, I haven't thought about that from that angle. Like, yes, that makes sense. Like the abortion shit, but the cost of living.
Yeah.
To make it really hard to survive on your own. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like impossible to survive on your own here.
It's really hard.
It's hard.
Yeah. So speaking of money, I also like to speak about money, frankly. Yeah. I make a little bit more than 100,000 and all my expenses are my own. Like I don't share them with anybody.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm like barely making it, you know, like it's not like in the Bay Area, like my savings are minimal.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm not extravagant, you know, like, yes, I live by myself, but I'm an adult. Like, I can't fucking have roommates. Not to say that people who have roommates aren't adults, but
no, I know what you mean.
am very introverted, and the only person I can really handle seeing in the morning is like my lover, my partner who's around here, you know.
And you have to be on all day. Like, your job, you have to be on all day. So you need a place to not have to be on. Yeah.
And I feel like that shouldn't be where you have to compromise. Like, if you need to live on your own because your brain works better if you do, your whole system is more relaxed if you do, like, that shouldn't be a concession you have to make in order to, like, survive, right?
Yeah.
And also, like, what I pay here for rent, I get a really good deal. Like, a one-bedroom apartment, a studio in the city, it would probably be, you know, about this much. It's just a little over 2,000, so.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Right.
Yeah, I can't believe that, actually, because this place is really nice. And
yeah, my landlord is lovely.
Yeah.
He's a nice young man. Who,
that's good. But fuck landlords. But I'm glad
fuck landlords.
Fuck landlords all day
He
long,
doesn't own a lot of properties, so I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just he only owns this place, and he lives in a van in, like, SoCal.
Okay.
Cool. Good for him.
Does he surf?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's into biking and, like, hiking and that kind of thing.
Yeah. The only reason I ask is because I wish I could surf, but I'm too fat to surf. But
I don't think that's true.
No, it is true. It is true. But that's okay.
But why?
Because I would have a really hard time getting myself up on the board.
But if you gain muscle and strength.
Yeah, maybe if I worked on, like, core stuff. Yeah. Thanks. Sorry, that went down a rabbit hole.
You know, I mean, I get it. Like, I get that the world tells fat people they can't do shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but you can do anything you want, I think, if you, like.
Yeah, if I, like, really, like, try to get buff.
To lose weight, you can just gain muscle, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah, so, okay, yeah. So that's my class stuff. And then, you know, I've been fat my whole life. And, you know, as I've aged, I've gotten fatter. But I've always been fat. So, like, that's just something that exists as well. And then queerness is, like I said earlier, like, I've been queer pretty much forever. Like, it just, you know, it all just.
Well, so
you're kind of mixed together.
Your specific flavor of femme is, like, very sparkly. Okay, you wear a lot of black clothes, but, like, your makeup is really sparkly.
Yeah.
And you have these, like, really beautiful blue eyes. So it's like you're sparkly.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of tattoos that are colorful.
I have a lot of colorful tattoos. I wear a lot of colorful makeup. I wear very bright lipstick.
Right. Then you wear, like, black.
And then I wear black
and,
clothing.
Like, some leopard print. I know I've seen some leopard print. Very, like, 90s femme, I would say.
I'm very, very stuck in the 90s. I, like, can't move past it because I love it. And that was, like, glory days, you know?
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. You know, fashion-wise, there was a lot of glory in the 90s, and that's why they're back.
It's so back.
But how does it, like, do you get a lot of attention in public? Like, people are just like,
yes,
you are a bright spot in the middle of the gray mass.
Yeah. So, like, it's really interesting. Like, I get attention, like, all the time everywhere I go.
Yeah.
It's either, like, people disgusted by me or really just intrigued by me. And that's mostly from, like, women or, like, people that I perceive as women. And then with men, they're either, like, angry that I'm fat and, like, you know, because men want women to be fuckable or whatever, and that I'm unfuckable to them. So then, like, they get angry about that and will say, like, really fucked up things to me. Or they'll say really sexual things to me about how they like big women, how, like, fat women give better head. Like, I hear this all the time. And I'm just like,
so regardless of whether or not they're into you or not into you, it's still about sexuality. Either a lack of them.
Totally.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've spent a lot of energy in my life trying, like, not to appeal to men. And that's partially why being femme for so long was not an option for me. Yeah. You know?
I'm trying not to appeal to men either.
Yeah, no,
but,
I know you're not trying to appeal to them, but, like, that sounds so rough. I'm like, that sounds.
It is rough. Yeah. And, like, I feel like it is lessening a little bit just because I'm aging, you know, like, I'm 42, going to be 43. People tell me I don't look my age all the time. But, like, it's definitely slowing down a little bit, I think, which is good.
Yeah. Maybe the men are getting more conscious. No.
I mean, I don't know. And it particularly happens at gas stations a lot. Men love to approach me at gas stations. Yeah.
I feel like gas stations are a place I just don't feel particularly safe anyway.
No, I know. It's like super intense and like...
You're like leaving your car, your stuff is in the car, you're going around the car, you can't see what's happening.
Totally. You have to pay attention to what you're doing.
For 5 minutes while it's gassing up. Like there's just like a lot of elements about it that are kind of weird. You can't really get away easily and quickly.
Yeah. And like men use my tattoos a lot to start talking to me. And like I feel like when you're like a heavily tattooed person, people think they have the right to touch you. And also being a fat person too, because like, you know, people just assume that fat people don't own their own bodies and don't have agency over their own bodies, right? So like men will come up to me and then like just grab my arm and be like, let me see this. And I'm just like, whoa, buddy, like back off. You know, I don't know you. It's just like super intense, you know? So I don't particularly like going to gas stations by myself, and I try to avoid it.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's also, I mean, things, as you get out from the center of town, there's also like, things are just a little more different here. I feel like I see more like big trucks, like more conservatism, kind of in the San Leandro, like outskirts of Oakland.
And I work in Dublin, so that's like a whole nother world.
Right, so your job, you work in a prison.
I work in a jail.
Jail. What's the difference?
So,
please educate us.
Yeah, so a jail is for people who have not been sentenced. And so when someone has been sentenced, then they will move to a prison. So yeah, I am a social worker, and I've been a social worker for a very long time, and I've been working at the jail for the last few years.
Which jail?
Santa Rita Jail.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the second largest jail in California and the fifth largest jail in the country.
How many people does it hold at once?
4,000. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm an abolitionist, and I work in a jail, and I work around police officers every day, all day long. So it's pretty intense. But yeah, the jail is, you know, in Dublin, which is a suburb in the Bay Area. And people are really conservative out there. And so...
How do you make it work?
You mean working in the jail?
Like psychologically for yourself, like as a person who is highly visible, how do you make it work? Like, how do you not... I don't know what I'm asking. You know what I'm asking.
I do know what you're asking. So, yeah, it's complicated, but I feel like I need to do this work because my clients are having like the worst experience, the worst time of their life, and they need people that get it to be there supporting them. So I have to like kind of suck up all my politics and all my feelings about the police and everything just so I can go in there and stand strong and try to be an ally and try to like get them as many resources as I can while they're in there, try to get them resources for when they come out. So I have to like turn a lot of myself off just to make it like past, like when I go through the sliders every day, and like to make it like past the police and be able to get in that room with my client so then I can like...
But do you at least like have some rapport with some of them where you're like, I know your face, we've seen each other a lot, like hi.
The police officers?
Yeah. And like the guards or whoever is there. Okay.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little easier that you like kind of know them and you...
Yeah, they, you know, like I work, especially like I work in the mental health housing unit. So I'm in the same housing unit every day with the same deputies every single day. So they technically are my coworkers. They don't know shit about me because I don't want them knowing anything about me.
Queer. Maybe they know that.
Maybe they know that, but I've never like I don't talk to them about it, you know. But I'm sure that they know that because my clients know that. So, you know, and my coworkers, the other mental health clinicians know that I'm queer. So the deputies probably know, but like, you know, like a lot of my coworkers have like birthday parties at their houses and they go out after work, but I will not go because they invite the police and I will not hang out with a police officer outside of work. So like they know that like one of the deputies like calls me the communist or the socialist. He'll be like, oh, here's the communist. Like, and he's joking, but like not, you know? Yeah. So it's interesting.
So what is your day? Can you describe like a regular day for your work?
Yeah, there's not really a regular day, but there is, you know, there's what a regular day is supposed to be like.
Some patterns.
So I work in the mental health housing unit, and there's about 160 clients in there. And I have a fourth of those clients that are my clients. So I see them like on a rotating weekly basis. So I have my list of clients that I see every day. And then I sit in the unit and deal with any crises that happen. So I do a lot of crisis intervention all day long. And that can look like, you know, someone has climbed up the railing and is threatening to jump. There's, you know, like people are facing a long time in jail. You know, I talk to people that have murdered people are in there for rape. You know, they're facing some serious charges. And it brings up a lot. So like they can be refusing to lock down because they get to come out, like, you know, they're in 2-man cells. So they get to come out like for pod time. And like, that's when they get to have a little bit of social time with like 5 or 6 people at a time. But they only get out of their cells like 4 or 5 hours a day. So when they get told to go back in, like sometimes they'll refuse to go lock down again. So then I have to like go in there and talk to them to stop the use of force, to like stop them from being tased or from being pepper sprayed. And so I spend a lot of time
How do you do that? How do you tell them? How do you talk to them? How do you talk them down?
Well, it's like I build really strong rapport with my clients, right? So I do a lot of work to get them to trust me, which is hard. Yeah, you know, because especially like, you know, it's like mostly Black and brown folks, and I'm a white woman, and I have to put in a lot of work and a lot of rapport to get them to trust me. And so I kind of I'm just real with them, and I'm like, look, this is going to happen either way. Like, so I just like, you know, I try to empower them to make the best choice for themselves. So then the fucking cops don't have to come in and force them to do something. So
then in that case, does the way you look help? Because they look at you and they're not going, you're like one of those white people who doesn't understand. Like, they look at you, they see that you have experiences of marginalization too.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely helps. It definitely helps. A lot of most of my clients are tattooed, and heavily tattooed because a lot of them had done a lot of prison time. So, you know, that definitely helps, and I bond with my clients over being tattooed a lot.
Do they like notice when you get new?
Yes. Stuff? Yeah. Like parts that are of me that are visible. Like, you know, we just recently tattooed this on my hand, and like Micah just recently tattooed anxiety top on my hand because I've been doing a lot of work in my own therapy and EMDR around dealing with my own anxiety, just because I have a lot of anxiety, just because it's like a theme throughout the pattern of my family. And my mom is very anxious, and I just kind of like got that from her. And I was like talking to my therapist about how like I'm doing a really good job at like not letting anxiety take over. My therapist is like, oh yeah, you're topping anxiety now, which is kind of funny because I definitely identify as being a bottom. And so my clients are like, what does that mean? What does that say? And I'm like, oh, it just means that I'm the boss of anxiety now. And they're like, oh, that's cool.
They're like, I want one too.
Totally.
Okay, but you came in 2 weeks ago, and you were like, oh, just write it real little, and you know, just real simple, real little with the hair on my hand. And I was like, girl. And then we made it a whole thing.
It is a whole last thing,
and it's so perfect.
I was like, let's do it in typewriter, and then they like put it up, and like they like stenciled on my hand, and I looked down, and it looked like what are the 90s fridge magnets?
The fridge magnets. Yeah.
And Micah was like, bitch, no. So I'm glad we didn't do that. And now it's like really pretty.
It's very pretty. What did therapist say? Because you went to see her right after you saw me.
Yeah, my therapist was just like fell out laughing. It was really funny. And because like literally right after I left the studio, I went right to see my therapist, and they were just like, they thought it was so awesome and funny. So yeah, one of the deputies like came over and was like, what does that say? And I just like let her read it, and she was like, what does that mean? And I was like, that I'm topping it. Her eyes just got all big. It took her a minute for it to click.
Like the words top and bottom are not words that like normies have in their lexicon.
I don't think that like, straight cis people like
identity things.
Yeah, no, they don't get it.
It's an offensive word.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That way.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's offensive, but you know, like whatever, people can fuck off about that. Like, you know, cis people being like, that's offensive. No, it's not. Like, you're normie, you're a normie.
Get offended about
being cis. Like, you're what the fuck?
So ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
Let's talk about, so you said your bottom. Yeah. Even though it says top on your hand.
I'm an anxiety top. Okay, like, I mean, I am mostly a bottom. I will switch. Like, but I am a bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing with kink? When did you decide how did you come to be a part of the kink community?
Okay, so in Portland in the late 90s and the early aughts, there was an underage gay club called the City Nightclub. And, like, that's kind of where I, like, came into, like, really understanding what being queer was for me, you know, and, like, what really, like, a deeper dive into, like, what like, queer history was and what queer community is. And, like, that's when I learned about kink. And it just, like, I'm just kind of, like, a natural at it.
It just, like, came right in.
It just, like, came right in. And I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm into this.
Who was your first, like, top or daddy?
Oh, my God. Okay.
You don't have to.
It was not cute.
It was not cute. You don't
It was not cute because I didn't know about boundaries, you know? And it was this woman that I met in the club, and she was a fucking mess. Like, mess. Like, raging alcoholic. And, you know, like, we started, like, doing daddy girl stuff, like, right away.
Was she, like, a lot older, too?
No, she was, like, 19, and I was, like, 17. Okay. So not that much difference.
Okay. Yeah.
But she was, like, just not honest. Not, you know, she was, like, in her addiction, which, like, you know, doesn't really make people make the best choices or being capable of being honest. So, you know, it was messy. And then, like, then I started, like, going to actual, like, like, once I turned 18, I started going to, like, actual play parties in like, actually, like, adult kink community, and started learning and started going to workshops and learning about, like, consent, and, you know, that you actually need to, like, sit down and negotiate things before you just jump into something. You know, I didn't know that when I was young. And yeah, so I've been, like, in and out of the kink community since I was, you know, 17, 18.
And is that mostly, like, playing with specific, like, people you met in places? Did you, like, conferences, like, how do you...
Yeah, like, conferences, going to workshops, going to play parties, going to IMSL, which I didn't... It just happened last weekend, and I didn't go because it was in New Jersey.
I feel like you should have made that a priority.
I know.
When is the next...
It's every April, so next year.
Are there other kink events?
There's
like
lots.
There's
lots. Yeah. So, you know, hopefully I'll make next year happen. Yeah.
Why are you so obsessed with Lulu?
Because she's amazing, and she's so cute and sweet, and I just love her. And I love her ears. She has, like, really big spotted ears, and I'm obsessed with them.
They're pretty accessible.
Have people seen pictures of Lulu?
Yeah. I feel like it's hard to miss her.
Okay.
On, like, my socials. She gets...
I mean, yeah, she's on the socials a lot, but I guess people that are listening have, like, looked at pictures of Lulu.
They'll have to go to Instagram and look at Lulu.
I know. I am gonna make Lulu her own Instagram account. I'm gathering enough pictures. I need, like, at least, you know, some good ones.
But, like, you know, what will happen over time. It's a collection that grows over time.
Okay, maybe I'll make
tattoos.
Yeah, it's true. But you know how I am. I want things to be, like, big and perfect right away.
Yes.
That's me being a Virgo.
Yeah, is that what it is?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. But Lulu does need an Instagram because she's fucking gorgeous, so...
I feel like she would get followed.
She would.
Yeah.
She would get followed a lot.
And maybe she'd get like a sponsorship.
Maybe she'll get a sponsorship and start making some money.
I know. Somebody... Seriously.
then you'll have a 2-income family.
Yeah, exactly. She could carry her own ears around here. The weight of her ears.
Yeah. I want to get her ears tattooed on me. Is that weird, though? Because she's not my dog.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She's like... It's like a celebrity, you know, when you get, like...
Yeah. It's like getting, like, a Britney Spears tattoo or something.
Yeah. Speaking of Britney Spears...
Oh, my God.
I was in, like, a Britney Spears TikTok hole the other day. Like,
yeah.
I saw this video that I guess she had posted but then removed. It was, like, her on this, like, green lawn, and people were talking about how it's a green screen background, and also it's not actually her. It's, like, somebody impersonating her, and she's long dead. Like, I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, there's, like, so many conspiracy theories about her.
What is going on?
Well, you know, she's mentally ill.
She is mentally ill.
Yeah.
That's clear. But do you think it's her?
Yes.
Because people are like, it's not her.
Yeah, no, I do think it is her.
She looks different.
Yeah.
I mean, she's aged. We've all aged. But, like...
It's her.
Is it her?
It is her. I'm pretty sure it's her, yeah.
But she's, like, really not there anymore. Like, who she was.
She's not there anymore, no. Yeah. You know, it's my guess that she's pretty unmedicated, you know, because she was under conservatorship for a very long time. And, you know, and I think, like, her and her husband are now splitting up, and, you know, she was pregnant and had that lost the baby, and she was always trying to have another baby because Kevin fucked over like her with the other kids, and the other kids don't have anything to do with her now. So it's tragic, actually.
It's really
like
tragic.
Childhood fame really fucks people up.
Yeah.
So
Well, so instead of a Britney tattoo, you should definitely get a Lulu tattoo.
I know. I would not get a Britney tattoo, but I would definitely get a Lulu tattoo.
What? Like, okay, so if you had to get a celebrity tattoo, well, who would it be?
Courtney Love.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Instantly. I love her.
Why?
Just because when I was growing up, I just fucking loved her. I just love her. Yeah.
Like her music or her like persona?
Her music, her persona, what she stood for, her style.
Okay.
Yeah, I know she's problematic, you know.
I mean, I don't know enough about her to like,
Yeah.
I mean, who isn't problematic?
Yeah. But yeah, I really, really, really love her.
Okay.
Her and Stevie Nicks, they're like my favorite celebrities.
They could be like really cute pinups.
They could be. Totally.
I haven't done a pinup in a long time. It's been a minute. Could do Lulu as a pinup too.
What would that look like? What would she be wearing?
She would be wearing, I totally know the answer to this question because I've thought a lot about her, how she would be as a person. She would be wearing roller skates.
Okay.
She's like a derby girl.
On all four paws or just on
Just
the
two.
just the back two?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a derby girl.
So she'd be standing up like a person.
Yes.
Okay.
She'd essentially she'd be like anthropomorphized. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah, like her head and her ears and stuff, but like kind of like a humanish body.
Okay.
Humanish, doggish body.
Okay.
Like maybe paws, but like
are you saying
girl
like boobs?
body.
Because you were like,
she would probably have some boobs.
yeah.
I think she
Like
would
double
be,
D's?
She would have some boobs. I don't know if they'd be double D's. She'd be wearing but she looked like kind of like a rough and tumble derby girl. And she would look a bit dykey, but she's straight. Like she definitely is straight.
Boo.
I know.
Why?
I don't know. She just is. Ask her. It's not something you choose. She was born that way. She loves men. She'd be wearing a mini skirt, like a pleated mini skirt, and like knee pads. And she'd have bruises and tattoos on her legs.
Okay.
And then she'd be wearing like probably just like a little simple little like plain white tee, like a little croppy top thing. And she'd have like bad tattoos all over her and like scrapes and bruises and stuff.
Okay.
And hickeys on her neck.
Classy.
And she'd probably be skating with like a bottle of beer.
Okay.
I think that would be her.
Okay.
I mean, maybe she would like, this probably be her in her 20s.
Would she have like a
she's-
raspy voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She smokes cigarettes
Okay.
and stuff and she
Yeah.
drinks cheap beer.
Okay. Like PBR?
Yeah, and she'd probably have like a Chelsea haircut.
Shit. Okay.
Don't you think?
I could see it. I see it.
Yeah. What about Stevie?
If Stevie was a person?
She was a pinup tattoo.
Oh gosh. I don't think I think Stevie's kind of butch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
What kind of butch? Like a grandpa sweater kind of butch?
Like, yeah, like some overalls and a button up with some,
okay.
like
Like paint splatter on it?
maybe some paint splatter.
What kind of shoes?
You know, like wingtip shoes.
That's not an outfit.
Yeah, it is.
Wingtips with paint splattered
with paint
overalls.
splattered overalls. Yeah, it's like a thing.
I was thinking like slip-on, some kind of like heads, like bands or something. You know?
Yeah, I mean maybe, but like, I think she would have like fancier shoes. I don't know. I just do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would she have
and then
a
like
nice heavy chain?
No, like she would like wear overalls like at home, and then like when she go out, she would wear like khakis with like suspenders and like a button up.
Cute.
And maybe a grandpa sweater.
What do you think should be butch?
It's just like an energy thing.
She just has that
is
like
energy.
really grounded, steady, playful.
No,
No.
no, not really.
Does
She's
she
just
like femme girls?
Stevie loves everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to come over and meet her.
Yeah, you should come over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely, we'll have to ask MC what they think about Stevie's gender. I don't think I've asked them. So,
Yes, you should consult.
yeah.
Because I feel like it's just like the two of you would know best. Mm-hmm. It'd be like, where do you intersect there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the very serious.
Okay, sorry. We took a little weird turn there.
There's no issue. What's the thing you're like working on lately in your life? Like, doesn't need to be super deep and big, but like clearly topping anxiety is one.
Yeah, really like just figuring out how to worry less and be more calm as I like, enter, like I'm middle-aged, but like as I enter like being more like solidly middle-aged, like how to feel. I mean, always like I'm striving to feel okay in my body, right? And just to like really just hold on the fact that like I'm okay and I got myself and like I'm always going to be okay no matter what. So really just like focusing on that and just, trying to create my home as like my safe space because I spend a lot more time at home. Like I've been working throughout the whole pandemic in person because my job doesn't allow me to be remote. But, I go out way less. When I was like younger, I was out. I was never home, And
now you have your own house.
Yeah, I have my own house now.
So much better to nest in when you have
totally
that.
Like it's mine, and no one can take it away from me, and no one can tell me I have to move. I can do what I want to it. Yeah. So really, just like trying to settle into like my home and making it somewhere I want to be, and really just like knowing that I got myself and that I'm going to be okay, and that I don't need to worry so much, which is hard, like. I'm Italian and Catholic, and like that combination just like worries so much. Like it just got passed down from like my mom's father was like a big worrier. I never met him, and my mom is like a big worrier. And like, when I was younger, there was a lot of things to worry about. And now that I'm like, have figured out how to like be successful, whatever the fuck that means. Right. Like I don't need to worry as much. Like I'm okay. I got myself.
Yeah.
So just like really like trying to settle into that.
You've kind of like set up your life for the next stage of your life.
Yeah.
Do you think worrying is genetic or something that
I think it's both. I think it's like genetic and, like this world we live in is fucked, right? And like there's so much unpredictability and you just don't know what's going to happen. But I do know now that like I am capable of taking care of myself, which I didn't know for a really long time. Mm-hmm. But I know that now. So
it was a good thing to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anxiety. It's interesting because I feel like my family is very anxious and I feel like I have some of that coming in, but it doesn't feel like it's necessarily mine. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just like inborn. So yeah, I was wondering about that recently, like if it's something that can be passed down genetically.
Mm-hmm. Do you identify as being an anxious person?
I wouldn't say that before, but I have been excessively anxious lately. Yeah, I would say that's true. And I mean, I have some hormonal stuff that's not really balanced, and I'm not sure it can ever be balanced, and it's just getting worse as I age. So I think that's a part of it. Yeah. Maybe I need one of those tattoos too.
Yeah.
But I do it in a different font.
What font would you do it in?
Old English.
Okay. Yeah. Where?
I don't know where. I'm actually going to do it. But
you're not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, no.
But it'd be cool to do something on my knuckles. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not like looking like a tattoo artist till I have my knuckles done and my neck.
Are you going to tattoo your neck?
At some point, I'd like to. Yeah.
I want to tattoo my neck too.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. There was somebody had expressed their attraction to neck tattoos as being neck tattoo sexual. It was like a long time ago. And I remember that. I was like, that's a thing. Yeah, neck tattoos are pretty hot.
They're super hot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend's not really into the idea for me. And it's like, I'm taking that into account. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be like what makes my decision for me, but it's something to consider.
Why isn't she into it?
I don't know.
Liz, like, why are you not into this?
Let's ask her.
Liz, come on.
I don't know. It's a good question. I should ask her. At some point I'm going to do an interview with her and I will ask her these questions.
Okay. Well, I'm asking her right now.
She can't respond. She's on a plane back from Prague.
Okay. Well, she can text me when she lands.
Okay. Whenever she listens to this, like in another month or so. She's not super great at listening to all my episodes on time, but she will eventually. Okay. And then, so what what are the things that are making you happy lately? Like small, beautiful, sparkly things.
Honestly, right now it's the sun because we had such a fucking rough winter. It just constantly rained here for it felt like months. I don't know.
It felt like days to me.
Did it?
Not enough.
That's where you and I differ, friend. Yeah, it felt like it just was like constantly just like raining and flooding and like landsliding and like semis blowing off the Bay Bridge and like
That's true.
It happened for like a few months. And you know, like one of the reasons I came back to the Bay, there was a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons I came back to the Bay is like, I mean, I love Portland, you know, I grew up there, like, but it's so like I need the sun in my life. Like,
so why didn't you go to like LA or SD
because I don't want to
or
live there.
Florida?
Fuck that.
Alligators, though.
I want to meet an alligator.
Yeah, me too.
But Florida, I can't do Florida.
No, okay.
Too much weird shit happens
that was
in
kind
Florida.
of a joke.
Did you see that someone recently threw an alligator through a drive-through window in Florida?
No.
Yeah.
Like a baby one? They're pretty heavy.
I think it was like maybe a teenage alligator. Because it wasn't very small, but it wasn't like a full-grown alligator. It was probably like a teenage alligator.
Poor alligator.
I know. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Florida, man. But, yeah. So
Between Florida and Texas, you know.
I know.
We're really getting a bad rep out there in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, but the sun, I've just been really, like, trying to find joy in my life. I feel like the pandemic, like, sucked so much joy out of everyone's life that, like, I'm really just trying to cultivate joy and, like, following things that make me happy. So, you know, reconnecting with my friends who, like, you know, I had, like, was texting through the pandemic and stuff, but I wasn't really seeing. So I'm, like, able to see people now, and that feels really good. And just able to, like, hug people, you know? Like, I like, touch and, like, being able to, like, hug people. And so it feels good to be able to do that again.
You're an extrovert.
Completely.
Right? Yeah. Which I feel like it's so rare to find somebody who actually identifies that way.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like even people who I would think are extroverts are like, oh no, I'm totally not an extrovert. I just pretend or whatever, you know? So I feel like it's probably no like two people like you and like one other person who are like, yes, I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
Like give me the people, give me the parties, give me the gatherings. That must have been hard for you.
Yeah. I couldn't even be in a room alone till I was like 25, 26. Yeah. But I've definitely learned how to be alone. But like,
yeah, you've had to.
I've had to.
Yeah, I feel like we can't get out of this life without learning how to be alone.
I mean, that's why I have the word solitude tattooed on my chest. I did that when I was like in my early 20s because I was like trying to figure out how to be alone. And
it had to be like part of the center.
It's like literally like in the center of my chest.
Yeah.
And like it was there before all this stuff was like built around it, you know?
Okay, you did that first, just like the banner.
Yeah. Okay. So this is really embarrassing. So remember we're gonna go back. Remember in the 90s Pride rings, like the necklaces with the
I always wanted one, but I was afraid to wear it.
Yeah. So I used to wear them. This is so embarrassing. Because like so cheesy, right? But it was like a thing to do if you were like young and queer in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And so they never really had any like feminine ones. They were all like super kind of mask looking and just like they were always on like, you know, those chains that were like the little balls and then
the little rings and the balls. Yeah, they were pretty like genderless, I would say.
They were like, they were kind of genderless, but like
definitely not pretty.
They weren't pretty, and like
which is what I liked about them myself, you know.
But I like really pretty things, and like I don't want to wear things that aren't pretty. And so I see these stars. They're rainbow colored. And so I like tattooed the 6 colors of the queer rainbow in the stars.
The
so
orange
it was just
is
the
now
stars.
Yellow.
It is because it's old.
Yeah, we need to orange it up.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
And so like literally I just had the stars, which is like embarrassing, right? And
not in the 90s.
And not in the 90s, but And then I got the word solitude here because I was like really just doing a lot of work on just being able to be okay to be alone. So then that, and then like later, all the like roses and guns and everything came after that. Because at that point, like I was like, okay, I'm just embarrassed by having these like rainbow stars, and now they just blend in and people don't even realize.
It's true. I never even realized.
Yeah. So that's like what happened there.
What do you think about? Like the 90s are back in so many ways, like stylistically, aesthetically, right? And people are now doing the 90s tattoos again, right? The really simple things, the kind of stickery looking tattoos, even that what we used to call it tribal, but there's now, I heard somebody say another way.
Are people doing tribal tattoos again?
They're calling it pointy filigree.
No.
You know what I'm talking about,
Can we please not? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
People are doing that shit again. Like those like pointy, like, you know, the lower back tattoos, like those.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
What do you think about that?
That's horrendous. I didn't know people were doing it again. I know that, like, you know, the 90s have been back. This is like the second or third time for me as an adult that they're coming back.
Way.
Not in this way, though.
This is really intense.
It's super intense. And, like, I recently, my, like, 15-year-old cousin passed away. I'm not going to go there. But so I went to her memorial, which was at her high school. And all of these kids that were coming were, like, wearing, like, literally clothing of the people would have worn when I was in high school. Like, they're wearing like the parachute pants. Like, yeah. I was like, my mind was blown. I think because I'm so far removed from like youth culture now, that like I didn't realize like how Rex and effects this is. Like, they're wearing like huge. Yeah. I'm like Janko jeans again. Like,
I like wish I had my old shit actually that I liked, but I don't know where it went. You know, like between college and moving, I had some really cool shit.
Yeah,
a few pieces, not a ton. A few pieces.
So yeah, a certain part of the 90s, but the tribal tattoo needs to die and never come back.
Yeah, it relates not at all to any culture in the world, not at all to any indigenous style in the world. It's just this like weird 90s.
Has anyone asked you to do? I know you won't do it, but has anyone asked you?
No, because that's not my clientele. Yeah. You know, like my clientele is like people in their like 30s and 40s for the most part.
Yeah,
and like some young folks, but they come to me for what I do specifically.
Yeah,
but that is happening, and it is not pretty. And I've spent the last 15 years of my career covering up a lot of that shit. Yeah, you know? Totally. And now it's back, and I'm like, please, let's not. Yeah, let's not. But people are doing it.
It's tragic.
It is tragic. Well, we can wrap it up.
Okay.
Do you have any parting words?
No
parting words.
No, not really.
How was your first experience being on a podcast?
It was good. Yeah,
it's just like a cash chat.
It's just like a casual
with one of your friends
chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was nervous about it because I was like, I don't want to sound silly.
You know what? Like, no one listens anyway. There's like 5 people who listen. It's okay. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah, it's not.
I don't think that's true. But I think it's more than 5.
Like a few more.
How many?
Honestly,
like 30?
Yeah, like between 30 and 70.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Well, hello, 30 to 70 people out there.
I mean, I am really so grateful to the 30 to 70 people who listen. But I think that's comforting in a way that, you know, the people who listen, are like people who kind of know me. Mm-hmm. Like, it's my clients, it's people who know me from the internet. So it feels less intimidating. Like, I'm not performing for a giant crowd of strangers. Mm-hmm. Neither is my guest. And so it feels like we're at home. Yeah. You know? And
well, we are at your home.
Literally at home. But we're also at home in the ears of people who like already feel sweet towards me. Like, that aren't, you know, kind of picking it apart for whatever. Yeah. Bits and pieces and tearing me apart. Because that can happen on the internet. You go viral, people will tear you the fuck apart. That life is not for me.
And me either.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
I've been trying to make this happen for a long time, and I'm so grateful that you made it happen.
Yeah, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm so grateful that we are able finally to do this. And thank you for trusting me with your most visible, most beautiful, or near your face tattoos that frame your face. Yeah. I'm very happy to get to do this work on you.
Yeah, thank you.